Hello people of the internet, my name is William Michelle, and today we are doing a book review of Red Queen. And if you don't know what Red Queen is, you've been under a rock for years. Just kidding. It's a YA fantasy book that I loved when I was a child. So this is a book I've actually read before. When I was in middle school, I was around 13, 14. Now this book I've been wanting to do a review on for a while because I decided to reread the series, and it is okay, but it's about this girl who is a red blood, and in this world there's red blood and there's silver blood. Silver bloods are people who can actually use magic, and there's different people who are born into different households and bloodlines that hold certain magics, while then red bloods are just like you and me. And so silver bloods see themselves as superior and pretty much are the nobles and rich people, while they stomp down on red bloods. And it's about Mare going through, she's a thief, she likes to run, that's a very big thing about her, she likes to run a lot, and she is very independent, she is always worried because she's always disappointing her family, and she's honestly a pretty good character. I do not mind her at that much. All of her the reasons why she does stuff, even if it's dumb, makes sense to me. I feel like I always know her motives, and that goes with the other characters in the story too. Even if it's like there's a plot twist at the moment, you kind of know the characters pretty well. I don't really feel like the author ever did a really bad job at being out of any character's voice, and I always felt like the reasons why characters did things made sense to me. Her main love interest, I don't know even to call him the main love interest, because she has two love interests in this book, and they're two brothers, they're princes. Spoiler alert. There's going to be a little spoilers, but I'm really not going to get really into everything. My main OTP out of it was her and the first prince. She's not betrothed to him, but I did like their interactions. They had a kiss in it. Another spoiler. And my God, they are playing while I'm in the middle of recording a video. Okay. I guess I'll get out of the way. God, guys, I'm making a video right now. What the fuck? Overall, I actually did like the book. It isn't my favorite really at all. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's a book where I didn't hate it as much as I hated Daughter of Sparta. That's a story for another day. But there was times where I couldn't put the book down, even though I knew what was about to happen. It was very fun to read, and I enjoyed it a lot. But I would have to say, I just have a hard time with characters who have a bit more of a victimhood mentality or is very complainy. I understand completely, like fundamentally, I understand. Am I in a bad spot, guys? Oh my God, they're going crazy behind me. Oh my. You know, we're just gonna ignore it for now, kind of. I just have a hard time with characters who have a little bit more victimhood mentality, even though she doesn't fully have a victimhood mentality. She just complains a lot, which I can completely understand why. She's kind of in an effed up situation if you look at it, like when you read it. She is an effed up situation, but I still just have a hard time with it sometimes because, yeah, life sucks. It really does, and you can fight, and you should fight, and be the best you can be. But that's how you fix the situation. You just don't sit there and complain. And she does go and fix the situation, but she just complains a lot in her mind, which I think is really my only real big complaint about the story. I liked how they presented the other females in the story too. I feel like everyone has their own individual personality, very much so. I don't feel like anyone blends in with the other. And everything that the writer conveys and construction of the story, I can vividly see with my own eyes, which is a very big feat to accomplish. As a writer myself, it is really hard to get exactly what you're thinking onto a piece of paper, and I honestly think that this author did a splendid job at creating characters in a world that I can vividly see, and I can get excited about the magic system. The magic system also makes a lot of sense. So if you're really into fantasy YA, I think you'll really enjoy this novel. Also, the love story, I can't think of many tropes. I guess one is Prince and Prince and the Pauper kind of thing. Or rich versus poor love story, the enemies to lovers kind of deal. It's not exactly that, and I like it when a story isn't like you can't find the exact trope for love stories. I guess there is a love triangle too, and I like it when there's multiple different tropes because it makes it more of a real love story, because in a real love story it's very complicated, and I really admire that. Personally, I actually don't really like love triangles. I would rather have, this is the person she's going to end up with, and these are all the blockages in her way. These are all the barriers she has to go through to be with him. I'm a sucker for slow burns. I just am. I am writing a slow burn right now. There's been a few fast loves that I do enjoy, and there's been a few love triangles I enjoy. I feel like if you make it who's obviously she's gonna end up with in a love triangle, I feel a little bit more better, because for me, I get extreme anxiety when I'm reading a story and I don't know who to root for. Now I have a new thing when I do book reviews. I'm going to do some ratings. I'm going to do the romance rating, the magic system rating, and then overall rating. And I'm going to include the reason why I give a rating for each. Now for the romance, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I do really enjoy the romance progression throughout the book, but when it came to the second love interest, I feel like it kind of lacked. I understand why, but it didn't feel the passion for the other romance, and maybe there's a reason for that, but I did genuinely like it. Now for the magic system, I would have to give it a 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10 meaning that I understand the magic system pretty well. It's not one where they explain reason why every single person has magic and where that stems from, because it's not an overly complicated magic system. And I feel like I am explained kind of what's going on, and I'm excited to know more about the magic system in the next book, hopefully. And for the overall plot rating, I would have to give it a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed the plot, I enjoyed the characters, because I'm going to add the characters alongside the plot, but it really wasn't my cup of tea. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm going to read the next book. It just wasn't my favorite book, and so I would have to give like the overall rating like a 7 out of 10. I would definitely read it again in like a few years, but it isn't my all-time favorite book. And I feel like that's okay. I feel like some people will enjoy it, but my rating of it isn't the highest regard. But maybe that's just me. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please in the comments tell me if you've read this book and your thoughts and feelings about the characters, magic system, and what have you in the comments. And I'd love to know more of your thoughts. And if you haven't read the book, I do advise you to go read it, because I didn't feel like I wasted my time when I read it. If you like a story that is in a fantasy world, that it also has some realism to it, and has a main character that is pretty driven but also pretty reckless, and you get to see the progression of her character, I would very much suggest this book. And if you like a hint of romance, also should suggest this book. There's no steamy romance in it, but I am, for one, someone that doesn't like steamy romance, but I highly suggest you go read this book and tell me your thoughts in the comments. Now, I hope you all have a great week, and I will see you in the next video.